All right, STEAM Lab students, we are creating tail fins for our model rocket. And so as we've talked about, there are different ways that you can attach them. You can just make a fin, you can print that off, and then glue them onto the body tube. That's probably one of the harder ways. It might be easier if we just have the whole thing be printed by the 3D printed and then we attach it. So then we have to be thinking about how we're going to attach it. You can slide it inside the body tube, have a little bit of the fin design slide up in there and hold it in place. You could also have it kind of slip over the body tube on the outside and then glue it in place there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by drawing kind of a top-down view of my fins, of my whole assembly, and then I can extrude it and then kind of do cutaways to get the right shape. So the first thing I'm going to think about is what size would I'm going to build fins that can slide inside of the body tube. So the first thing I need to do is I need to think about the right size for it to be able to slide inside the body tube but not be loose. So I'm going to start with a circle, and I'm going to move my circle right here to my origin point. And in doing that, it's going to be kind of a nice frame of reference. I get a grid that I can work off of. So based on the measurements that I've done, I believe that the inside of that tube is about 23.8. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on the dimensions here. I'm going to type in 23.8. Now this circle will slide into the body tube. If I make it 3D, that's great. I have something that will go inside the body tube. The problem is that it's going to be solid. Where's my engine going to go? So I have to have a small lip go inside, but I also have to have a hole that the engine can stick through without burning anything. So I'm going to go back here and top-down view, and I have to think about how fat do I want the ring that goes inside the body tube to be. So maybe I'll have it be 1 millimeter. 1 millimeter is a pretty good size for like walls of 3D printed stuff. It's pretty strong, yet lightweight, and doesn't take too much material. So I'm going to make another circle, and I'm going to subtract 1 millimeter from on both sides. Okay, 1 millimeter on both sides from the 23.8. So 1 millimeter on the left side, 1 millimeter on the right side is going to be a total of 2 being subtracted, which is going to give me 23.8. I'm sorry, 21.8. So I'm going to type in here 21.8, okay? And that will be 1 millimeter on each side, smaller than what it currently is. And now I can take these two, I can select the outer circles, I can say concentric, so it'll put it right inside the other one. Now, as we mentioned, I want it kind of lined up with this origin point, so I'm going to bring it back there. Now what I can do is I can take this, and I can take this ring, and I can slide that up. Now this is a part that's going to go inside the body tube. That's great. However, I'm also going to need something that's going to, let's see, that's going to go, that'll go on the outside, and then I need something that's going to go kind of make it flush with the body tube, so that way it doesn't kind of just slide through. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one more ring here, and I'm going to make that kind of the width of the body tube. And so I think the paper is about 1/2 millimeter thick. So on the left side I'll have 1/2 millimeter, on the right side I'm going to have 1/2 millimeter. And so my dimensions are going to be 23.8. Let's see, 23.8. Oops. 23.8 plus 1/2 and 1/2 is going to be a total of 24.8. Okay, I'm going to take this circle, and I can move right there, or I can say concentric. All right, now what this is going to look like is this is going to come up. That'll go on the inside. And then if I bring this guy up, then that little lip right there is going to meet the paper. And so this outer circle right here is going to be the exact same dimensions as my paper tube, all right? Now, that's going to be the part that kind of fits into the paper tube. Now I just have to make my nose cone. So I'm going to make sure I have a top-down view. Now what I want is I want to make sure that my fins are exactly lined up right. and that they are evenly spaced. So I'm going to use this rectangle tool, and if you tap that little arrow that goes down and to the right, there are different ways that I can measure. I'm going to choose the center, so that will allow me to tap on the center of the circle and then just start making a rectangle. So I'm going to tap on the circle and then start making the rectangle. So to show you again, I'm going to kind of bring that out. Now, I have the ability to kind of make that, anyway, I'm going to just start making a rectangle, and then I'm going to type in my dimensions. So I know that this one right here, I want it to be 1 millimeter thick. So I'm going to tap on, I'm going to select the dimensions, and then I'm going to say 1 millimeter. For this one over here, you would want to measure and see exactly how big you want your fins. I don't know. I actually have not planned that out. I haven't looked at a ruler. I'm going to type in, let's say 60, all right? That'll be 30 on each side. And I'm looking at that, and I'm thinking that may not be big enough. So maybe I want to do 90. That's going to stick out a lot farther, okay, on both sides. And then I'm going to do the same thing, because I don't want just 2 fins. I want to have maybe 4 fins. So I'm going to do the same thing this way, make it the same dimensions, 1 millimeter, and then I want it to be, let's see, so I want it to be 90 going this way. So I'm going to make that 90, and then let's just check, see what this is. That's 1, so that's perfect. All right, now I can kind of bring that up and make some fins, and I'll just show you real quick. All right, now I have a basic block that I can cut fins out of, right? I can make that tall, I can make a design and then kind of cut away and make it the shape that I want. But I also need the part that goes in the body tube, so I'm actually going to go here and take the trim tool, and I'm going to cut away these lines where they cross these circles here. All right, I'm going to cut these away. I don't need the fins on the inside here. So I'm going to get rid of all of that. Do the same thing over here. All right, now I'm going to start extruding. So I'm going to say, how much do I want to be on the inside here? There are different ways that we can do it. I think I'm just going to start by making this, let's say 40 millimeters. I can adjust that later. And then this is going to be not as tall as that one, because I need part of this inner tube to go inside the body tube. So how much do I want to go inside? Maybe that much. I don't know, something like that. And now I want kind of like my basic shape for the fins. So I'm going to extrude this up, and maybe I will extrude it up to, we could do that, right? Then that's going to be, the body tube will slide down kind of, let's see, I don't know how to point with my screen here, but my body tube is going to go from here to here, right? And then this part is going to be sticking down. So at this point, this is below the paper body tube. If I brought this up higher, I could actually have it come on the outside of my body tube. And this part would be on the inside. This part would be on the outside. And I could glue this edge right here. I could glue that to the body tube to make it nice and stable. So maybe I'll do that. And I think I said that this one was about 60 tall. I think 60 millimeters is what I did. So maybe I'll make this one 60. Just have it, well, that's a lot more, okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and do that. And then I'll make all of these 60. And then all of them. All right, now we probably don't want rectangular fins, so now we just need to make a shape and then kind of cut away the parts to do that, right? So I'm going to come over here to have a top-down view. I'm going to double tap on that shape. That didn't give me the right view, so I'm gonna do it again. All right, there we go. Now maybe I would take my spline, and at this point you're just kind of doing art to kind of design your fins. I'm gonna use the spline, and I'm gonna start here, and I'm just gonna kind of design something. It's up to you how you do it. Now we'll use a program to kind of see the effect that different shapes have, but for right now I'm just gonna take something and maybe I'm gonna have it go out like that. I don't know. All right, now with that, what I can do is I can take this and I can cut this part away. All right, and now I have a fin. Now I need to have the exact same shape for all of these, so probably what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select this and I'm gonna move that now. I'm gonna tap on Move Rotate, and I'm going to move that out here. And now I need to rotate it. So I'm gonna take this kind of like curved arrow, and I'm gonna start rotating it this way. And if I wanna have it be an exact right angle here, I'm gonna tap here and I'm gonna say 90. All right, now it's gonna line up perfectly parallel with this fin here. And then I just have to move it so it goes over that. So I'm gonna double tap on this fin so I get a top-down view. And then I'm going to take my shape here. All right, and I'm going to continue moving that. And so that way it lines up perfectly with my fin. And then I'm gonna take this and I'm going to just cut away that right there. Now I have two fins, and then you would do the same thing to the other ones. One more consideration is that this is 1 millimeter thick, and it's gonna push its way through the air. I wanna make it cut its way through the air. So probably what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here, and I'm either gonna chamfer or fillet it, so it's either rounded, or it kind of gives you a kind of a knife blade edge there. So that way it goes through the air a little bit more smoothly and doesn't push the air in front of it. And that's the basics for how you're going to create your fins.